Who is it? Police, open up. Elena Roberts?
Yes?
We have a warrant for your arrest.
Excuse me? I don't understand.
You have the right to remain silent.
What? No, I'm sorry. No,
Anything
you have it wrong. I haven't done anything wrong.
What? You have the right to an
Stop
attorney.
it, please. There must be some mistake.
Ma'am, Officer Hines is reading you your rights.
Well,
If you do
I
not
would
have
prefer
an
to be
attorney-
Mirandized while clothed, please. If you don't mind.
5 minutes. I'll stay with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna need them all.
Back away.
You look right at home.
Yeah, this and the Drake. They're my favorite pied-à-terre.
Well, I get some of my finest fashion tips from this place.
You know what's annoying about jail?
The room service.
It's exactly what you'd expect. A couple hookers, an addict, a few ugly guards, and the smell of urine. It's a cliche.
You know what? You're right.
I hate to ask the obvious, but given our locale, it seems appropriate. What are you in for?
Contempt. I'm a journalist. The judge ordered me to give up my sources on this article I was writing about a murder, and I refused, so he slapped a contempt order on me. Threw me in here.
Judges. They have carte blanche. It's such an abuse of power.
Oh, tell me about it. What are you doing here?
A grievous error.
I love a good story.
And somewhat complicated.
No parking.
You changed your hair.
I beg your pardon?
It was done differently. Last year in Miami. What'd you call it?
A French braid?
Yeah, I like this even better.
Thank you. You're Dr. Stillman.
David, I'm sorry, I don't
Oh, that's
remember
fine.
your
Do
name.
it briefly. There's no reason why you would. Elena Roberts.
Elena. You waiting long for a cab?
10 minutes, maybe more.
Can I offer you a ride?
I wouldn't want to impose.
Come on. Get in. Come on. So I go to these conferences because I have to. What about you?
Well, that's putting it modestly. You're the keynote speaker.
They make me go, I swear. What's your field of practice?
You think I'm a doctor?
Could you be anything else?
Wow, that's a first.
We get a bad rap. We're not all that bad.
No, you misunderstand. I would kill to be a doctor. I just never had the chance. I'm a medical writer.
Damn good one, I bet.
I'm pretty good.
Are you staying at the Stanley?
No, I wanted to. They were booked.
I'll tell you what. I got a little pull over there. Why don't we see if we can get you a room? First thing that I learned in medical school was do no harm, and now these HMOs...
Oh, you don't want to know how I feel
Yes,
about
I do.
HMOs.
Tell me how you feel about HMOs.
What the HMOs have done to the practice of medicine is beyond criminal. The family dog receives better care than a newborn infant. And does the government intervene? No, they're too myopic. Someone, and with a modicum of persuasion, I admit that someone could be me, should lead an insurrection. Oh, God, I'm rambling. What's worse is I sound like a communist, but ironically, the revolt would actually be in support of capitalism. I'll shut up now.
No, you're terrific. Keep talking.
This is my room. I had a great time.
Me too. What should we do now?
Our options are limitless.
How do we narrow them?
What about that?
If you're okay with it, I am.
So good, you can't stop it. Once you could, and I know it. That you have to run my thumb when I give you sweetest oblivion. Come on, succumb, surrender to me.
You sure you want to do this?
It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you one of the new leaders in the field of neurological surgery. From Chicago, please welcome Dr. David Stillman.
Dr. Rayner, thank you. I'm sure that for most of you, the prospect of spending the next 45 minutes listening to me talk about the multimodality treatment of neurological carcinoma is about as exciting as watching paint dry. And I'm sure that most of you want to get in 9 holes before sunset. Probably won't happen. I'd like to give you a lift into the city, but I gotta get home.
Fine, I completely understand.
It's for the cat.
It was a one-night stand. You don't have to feel guilty about it.
Now, lady, you're something.
You have no idea.
I don't want to... What am I going to do with you?
You tell me.
I want to see you again. Will you? Guess that means yes.
Hi, Elena. I'm Sarah Miller, your lawyer.
You're not a public defender.
No, but I am appointed by the court. Heard about your case? I took an interest.
You asked to defend me?
That's right.
My pity case?
Maybe I can relate. You're not the first person to know what it's like to be on the receiving end of a bad relationship.
So where'd you go to law school?
Home. Unhappy I'm not a Yale grad?
On the contrary. Studies show that lawyers from lower-tiered schools actually perform much better in the courtroom than their better-educated peers.
I wish everyone would read those studies. So you know what you're charged with?
Yes, it's not true.
Tell me about it.
David and I had a long-term relationship. We were lovers. He ended it. I still love him. I want him back, and I was just trying to get his attention. Is that such a crime?
Certainly not. You knew he was married?
Of course, we talked about it all the time.
What is an 8-letter word for lazy?
Indolent?
Yes. All right, here's another one. An arbor with a latticework roof, 7-letter, begins with...
P?
Yes.
Pergola.
You're amazing.
Say it again.
You're amazing.
I love it when you say that.
Wouldn't it be great if we could spend every Sunday morning like this?
What's the matter? Can't your wife do the crossword?
I can't, won't.
What did you marry her for?
I don't remember.
Then why do you stay?
It's an 8-letter word for inertia.
Elena, wait.
I waited 2 hours.
Sorry, all right?
Too late.
Come on. You knew what life was like when we started this thing. Don't do this.
David, please stop. It's over, all right?
Oh, come on, that is so stupid. Don't go. Come on! Come on! Come on, Elena, pick up the phone, will you?
Hello?
Don't hang up. I'm leaving Claire. I love you.
Say that again.
I love you.
Would want to if we could, and I know it. Got you wrapped around my thumb when I give you.
How often did he say he would leave his wife?
All the time. In fact, he had told me that he'd grown to despise her.
He told you this.
On many occasions.
How long did your affair last?
The word affair implies short-term, that David and I were only temporary, but it was not like that. I mean, yes, like most couples, sex was our initial focus, but it just developed into such a deep relationship, and we spent an enormous amount of time together. And on the nights we weren't together, he would always call. We'd spend hours on the phone. Because David would spend all day in surgery, he would frequently work late at the office, and so the drive to Lake Forest was too long, especially when he had to be in surgery at 6 the next morning. So, for convenience, at least initially, he leased an apartment in the city, and he would stay there during the week instead of going home.
What do you mean initially?
After David and I met, he stayed there because he wanted to, not for convenience.
So your nights together were spent mainly at his place?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, yourself. I see we have an addition.
It's a gift from me to you.
Thanks, sugar. You didn't have to do that. I don't need it anyway.
No, but your apartment does. It's a nice color, isn't it?
It's green. What happened to my sofa? Looks good.
David, I love it. It's beautiful. Thank you.
I'm the only one who can get it on.
Did he ever support you, give you money?
Of course not. I mean, he wanted to, but I wouldn't let him. As soon as a woman does that, she becomes chattel. And I do okay as a medical writer.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, I assist doctors and scientists in the formation, writing, and editing of their research papers.
Were you always interested in medicine?
Yes. It's one of the things David and I have in common. Sarah, look, I know what I did, and I do feel bad. Not just for the trouble I caused, but it was just so damn short-sighted.
Don't worry. I think we have a good chance of getting this case dismissed.
Really?
The bail hearing is this afternoon. You ready?
Positively. One more night in this place and I'll go nuts.
Counselor, the court has already given your client 4 continuances. I don't care if your client is in Europe or has the flu or her period or whatever. I want to see your client in this courtroom Wednesday the 27th. Her failure to appear in this courtroom has serious consequences.
Sam,
Hey, Sarah.
what are you doing here?
My case?
Since when?
Since Holloway assigned it to me.
Don't have...
What's going on? I'll explain later.
Better bring your...
You're not going to hardball us on bail, are you, Sam?
Next case.
Case number 51458, State of Illinois versus Elena Roberts.
So wait and see.
Your Honor, my client is not a criminal. She had a long-term relationship with a man. They were in love, he broke it off, she got upset. Certainly the court can understand we all do things when we're heartbroken that we regret. Ms. Roberts has no prior convictions. We request that she be released without bail.
Counselor?
Your Honor, Elena Roberts broke the law. She terrorized Dr. Stillman and his family. Now, they have a right to their safety and privacy. The defendant, with her complete inability to control herself, has demonstrated the extreme likelihood that if released, she will continue to terrorize Dr. Stillman, or quite possibly worse. Consequently, the state asks that the defendant be held without bail.
You can't be serious.
Can counsel provide a guarantee that her client will cease and desist her felonious behavior?
Your Honor, Ms. Roberts is not a flight risk. Not only does she intend to vigorously deny these charges, she has no history of violence, nor is she charged with a violent crime. She's a woman scorned.
Hell hath no fury.
Oh, please spare me the gender bashing.
Squabble on your own time. Miss Miller, you're requesting that your client be released without bail. Mr. Gavallo, you're requesting that the defendant be held without bail. Both of you are a little bit off. Bail is set at $200,000.
Your Honor, my client is not wealthy at that amount. You are, in effect, denying bail.
You have the right to appeal.
That can take weeks.
Made my decision. Bailiff, remove the defendant. Next case.
Case number 51466, State of Illinois versus Cal Lieberman.
I cannot go back to jail.
Give me some time. The DA's office pulled a fast one. I've got to figure out what's going on. But I thought, hang in there.
Sit back, counsel.
Follow.
Hey, sorry to blindside you like that, Sarah.
Sorry. What are you doing on this case, Sam? Aggravated harassment? It's first grade stuff.
What are you doing on it?
Because a PD would plead her out because guys like Stillman lie to women all the time. And it should be a crime.
Two sides to every story.
What does that mean?
You don't get it, do you?
It was a relationship that went sour. Big deal.
That's just it, Sarah. There was no relationship. Your client and Stillman never dated. Excuse me.
Stillman is lying. It's what every married man in his position does. Excuse me.
Not this time. Trust me. Sarah, do you mind?
Please, I have a husband. What you are saying is that she made it all up. That's absurd.
I'm saying that Elena Roberts is crazy, and so are you. Can you get the hell out of here?
Oh, Sam, get what?
Home away from. It's when they try to be clever that it really starts to feel like prison.
What are you doing here?
Hey, the judge extended my contempt orders. I guess we're roommates. What are you doing here? You couldn't afford bail?
Not 200,000.
Ouch.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the judge say that.
Well, I know a guy who knows a guy.
Who knows a guy?
Exactly.
That's just what I need, an assault charge. I can ask the DA for a 2-for-1 discount.
Well, you know, look at the bright side. We certainly class up the joint.
Man and woman have an affair. Who's more likely to tell the truth about what happened?
This isn't one of your trick questions, is it?
No.
No, so if I give you an answer, I'm not going to get in trouble?
Promise.
All right. The man. I think he'd just be a little more objective about the whole situation.
What if he denies the relationship ever existed?
Well, then he probably has a lot to lose. Why, you thinking about cheating on me?
Who says I'm already not?
Mom! The TV's too loud. I can't read.
Oh.
Turn off my favorite show.
Oh, yes?
He took Chloe. I was playing with Chloe. He took it.
Why did you give up all this?
Don't start with Chase.
You gotta be kidding me.
Whatever.
Hello, Hector.
Oh, Miss Roberts, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Dr. Stillman is not here right now.
I know. I thought maybe I would surprise him. Do you think maybe you could let me in?
For you? Okay.
You're the best, Hector.
It's just our little secret.
Absolutely.
How did you get here?
Don't you want a drink?
It's gonna have to wait.
For what?
We have to talk. Claire knows about you.
How do you know?
Did you call my service tonight?
Yes, I wanted to make certain you were coming here and not Lake Forest.
You left your name. And apparently my service told Claire you were here.
That's rather unethical, don't you think?
What?
For your service to tell your wife?
Elena, that's not the point. The point is now she knows.
Well... Seeing as though you plan on leaving her, I would think that this would be good news.
It's not. Trust me. She wants to talk to you.
What?
She left the message on my cell.
And you actually think that I'm going to talk to her?
If we're going to be together, maybe you should.
She's your wife. You talk to her. You're the one who exchanged vows and then later realized that she was intolerable.
Elena, you're part of this.
Maybe not for long.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm not talking to her.
Yeah.
She's there, isn't she?
Claire, this really isn't the time.
I'm gonna come down there and I'm gonna throw that disreputable slut out the window.
You can't. It's an hour and 15 minutes, okay?
I drive faster than you, David. I can do it in 50 minutes.
Just don't. I'll ask her to leave.
No, I am gonna call the police.
Well, that's just what we need. That's just brilliant. That's the last thing we need. Just let me handle this. When she leaves, I'll call you back. I promise, all right? Relax.
You are gonna get a disease from that woman.
Are you ashamed of our relationship?
No.
Then why do you act like it?
You know, you have complicated my life.
I should leave.
Hey. I like that you complicated my life.
Do you like my new outfit?
Very stylish. Listen, I've got to tell you something. The DA is saying you didn't have a relationship with Stillman.
Do you believe him?
No. But Dr. Stillman will make a very credible witness.
This reminds me of that Walter Matthau movie where this guy gets away with cheating on his wife right in front of her while she watched. This guy's in bed with this bimbo. And his wife walks in on them doing it. She starts screaming at them. You know, who is this woman? And the husband looks up innocently, says, what woman? And the wife's saying, that woman right there. And the husband keeps saying, I don't know what you're talking about. What woman? She's so mad. She's babbling. Meanwhile, the bimbo is getting up. She's getting dressed. She tidies up. She leaves. Now they're alone. And the husband looks at his wife and asks, what's for dinner? She goes back into the bedroom. There's no mistress. The room's all tidied up. She thinks she's lost her mind. My point is deny, deny, deny. Of course, David told the DA we didn't have a relationship. If he got a divorce, he would lose his house. He would lose his kids. Everything. Infidelity is the mother of mendacity.
You know, you're right, Sam. Where's the low sodium soy sauce?
Kidding me, right? What am I right about?
There are two sides to every story. You ate all the cashews. Elena Roberts knows more about David Stillman than I know about my own husband.
You're all right with MSG, right?
So what's more likely? That she's nuts or he is a married man lying about having an affair?
Whether or not they actually dated is not on trial. Whether her behavior is criminal is.
Don't keep telling yourself that, Sam.
Your David is a major fish in a major pond, and you're going to need all the help you can get.
What's that?
Skank, you better step off.
What do you mean?
I want to do a piece on you for Chicago Magazine.
Are you serious?
I don't joke about my work.
What would be your perspective?
The jilted mistress getting the shaft from the rich and powerful boyfriend.
Or the victimization of a woman by the philandering husband.
I like that.
I don't know, maybe.
Don't underestimate the power of publicity during a trial.
Would you be fair?
No. I'm already biased.
I really don't have time for this.
You want to reschedule?
Yeah, maybe later this week.
Or we can do it out here?
Is there a problem with the case?
Yeah. There is no case yet. I need to get the facts straight, all of them.
You think online?
Hey, look, Dr. Snowman, when you prepare for surgery, how often do you go over a patient's history or think about a backup plan for something that can go wrong? For me, a trial is the same thing. I need to be prepared, not only for what you're going to say, but what Elena Roberts is going to say. Her version.
I know what she says, and it's not true, okay? When we met at Logan, I was standing in line waiting for a taxi. She came up to me.
Dr. Stillman.
Yes.
Hi. I'm Elena Roberts. We met last year in Miami.
Sorry, I don't...
Perfectly fine. Just wanted to tell you I'm really looking forward to your speech.
Thank you. You want your cab?
I wouldn't want to be in any trouble.
No trouble at all. Where you staying?
The Fairmark.
Will you please stop at the Fairmark before we get to the Sandwich?
Oh, it's out of the way.
It's a couple blocks apart. Don't worry about it. Where are you from?
Chicago.
Really? Me too. What do you do there?
I'm a medical writer.
I publish a lot. I could use your help. If you're interested when you get back, why don't you give me a call? Dropped her off at the Fairmark. Never saw her again in Boston. We met once in Chicago to talk about her working for me. I've been asked to do a piece on neurocarcinoma. There's some preliminary research I could use your help with.
How's your veal?
Good.
Veal's usually overcooked and frequently saturated in an overbearing cream sauce. I studied at the Cordon Bleu in Paris, so I think I'm allowed a modicum of modesty. I make an extraordinary cook of vin. The secret is the shallot. Maybe I can cook for you one night.
We went to a restaurant, and next thing I know, she wants to come over and cook dinner. It's clear she wanted something more from me, so I never hired her.
Wait a minute, back up. You went out to dinner? It's a little unusual, isn't it?
Not for me. I work 14 hours a day, from 6 a.m. to about 8 at night. Surgery twice a day. I don't go out for lunch. My only free time is at night. Hello? Yes, I'm on my way, thank you.
Okay, good. So that's it? Nothing happened?
Pretty much. Excuse me.
You do realize, of course, that her version is radically different?
Yes. Look, her whole life is a lie. That's the only thing she knows. The frightening thing is she's really good at it.
Look, if I'm going to defend you, I'm going to need to know as much about you as I can.
I'm an open book.
Your parents, will they be character witnesses?
They're dead.
Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you close?
Elena, we need to converse regarding this topic.
Mother, we have done nothing but talk about it.
But I'm worried.
Worry about everything.
It's not safe for you to abandon the house.
I'm not abandoning you. I'm merely moving out.
You're too young.
I'm 28 years old. My relationship with my parents was complicated.
Okay. Let's talk about Olivia Reese.
I prefer not to.
You want to lose?
The DA has her letters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'll use them as evidence against me. I can't stop that.
Time.
What more is there to say?
Dr. Mrs. Stillman, I'm sorry I'm late. Thank you very much for coming. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is.
We understand.
Now, we need to get an exact accounting of Miss Roberts' behavior. We have the letters, the phone records, but since you'll be called to testify, you do know you both may be called to the stand, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to need to hear it again in your voice.
Started with the phone calls.
It was like that for weeks at a time.
Dr. Stillman's office. I'm sorry, the doctor's with the patient right now. Yes, I gave him the messages, Ms. Roberts. Dr. Stillman's office. You know, you really should give him a chance to call you back. Uh-huh. Okay, well, I did give him the messages. Uh-huh. All right, bye-bye. Oh, my
God.
There were hundreds of them, sometimes 10, 20 a day.
Are you going to answer that? Or again? Yep.
What about at home?
We changed the number at the house so many times that David had to keep a note in his wallet to remind him what the phone number was.
Did you ever return her calls?
Once or twice, but that was only after we first met to discuss her working for me.
You never spoke to her again after that?
Not on the phone, no.
Meaning, you spoke to her in person?
It was hard not to.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Flight 21, non-stop to Dallas. At this time, we'll be boarding all first-class passengers and all those needing special assistance. Hello, Miss Roberts.
Oh, hi.
Have yourself a pleasant flight.
Okay, now one of the causalities of post-surgical hemorrhaging is an inadvertent laceration in the temporal lobe, which results in capillary dysfunction. There are steps that can be taken to ensure a proper post-surgical prognosis, but I'm going to give you some examples instead, okay? Example number one, patient A, a 63-year-old man with a history of degenerative coronary disease, underwent a series of fibrillations as a result of the collapse of capillaries.
What do you mean, she would just appear out of nowhere?
Plane after plane, conference after conference. Didn't matter where, Los Angeles, Rome.
How did she know you'd be speaking at these conferences?
Information is public. You know who's attending, who the guest speakers are?
I'm in the next room. You're just a wall away from personal ecstasy. Elena.
Honey? Honey, who was it?
I was room service. They had the wrong room.
But your flights, your hotel, that information isn't public?
She can be quite resourceful.
And quite clever.
Hi, this is Claire Stillman. I'm Dr. Stillman's wife.
Yes, how can I help you?
Hello. Yeah, we arrive on the 14th, and I was just wondering, does our room face the pool?
You did request a card?
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Stillman, that room does face the pool.
It does. Great. Thank you very much. Oh, also, I'm sorry, can you just tell me the room number? Because I want to send some flowers.
But she crossed the line when she involved my wife.
Hello.
Hello?
I'm going to marry her husband.
Sorry to interrupt.
That must have been a little awkward.
Yeah, it was.
Did you feel threatened?
For my safety or for my marriage?
I'm sorry. For your safety.
Yeah. That came later. It didn't matter where I was. She would just appear. I used to take a fire poker to bed with me at night just to feel safe. I told David that if something should happen to me, not to assume that it was accidental.
Did she ever approach you? Say anything threatening?
Which made it even worse. I had no idea what she wanted. Until later, when I realized that she wanted what I had. She wanted my husband, my children, the house, my life.
Do you ever wonder why, out of all the men in the world, she picked David?
Yeah, I do, all the time. I mean, there's plenty of successful, good-looking doctors. Why him? Especially since he didn't sleep with her. Are you implying that he did?
No, that's not what I meant.
Because I thought he had at first. I mean, why else would she pursue him so relentlessly? Unless they'd slept together. But David insisted that they never did. And you believed it? Well, if I didn't, my marriage was over. I didn't want that.
Hi. Did you tell her about Olivia Reese?
No. Who's that?
While it is contrary to the traditional patient-psychiatrist relationship for me to give advice, I consider myself an iconoclast. Thus, I would have to concur, especially since I know Dr. Stillman both personally and professionally, that his domestic situation is a hopeless one, and that he is deeply and profoundly in love with you. And so to answer your question, yes, I think you should pursue him. Thank you, Dr. Reese. You're welcome, darling.
How'd it go?
Oh, my lawyer said that the judge said that if I would budge, he would budge. Oh, well. The price of my memoirs just went up, so it's cool.
You're a smart woman. Do you ever ask yourself why me and not them?
Oh, no. That's a slippery slope. Don't go there. Why are you so sad? Are you still thinking about him? I dated this guy once. Oh, he was a widower. I mean, it didn't matter. He was terrific. He was smart and sexy. And I won't bore you with the details, but I actually thought he would be the last guy I ever slept with. And I didn't care. It didn't freak me out, which is really not normal for me. But I didn't want to be with anybody after this guy. So anyway, it was Christmas, and he was a big skier, and I knew that there was this ski parka that I really liked. So I went to the store to buy it for him, and I'm standing in line, and the woman in front of me is buying the exact same jacket. And after she's done, I hear the sales girl say, "Thanks, Mrs. Deutsch." That was his last name. And I thought, well, that's a coincidence, right? I'm a journalist. I cannot let these things go. So I followed her, and she went right back to his house and walked right in. And I'm standing there, so livid, I can't even breathe. And I have to talk to this guy. So I go to the front door, and I knock, and he answers, and I say, "Who's that woman?" And he says, "That's my wife." And I was like, "What? You lied to me about being a widower?" And he said, with this little puppy dog face, he said, "No, you asked me if I'd been married. I was. She died. You never asked me if I'd been remarried."
Man, they suck.
And what was he going to do with two ski parkas?
No, I haven't seen Lynn in a while.
Yeah, you mentioned that on the phone.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much help I can be. Don't get me wrong, I feel sorry for Lynn. It's tough being single in this city. Most women hoping to find a man are too afraid to admit they want. So they become obsessed with their careers. And let me tell you, any one of us could snap. Switch our obsession from work to a man. He's cute.
You said you knew her parents.
Yeah, they were a pair.
How so?
They were freaking strange. Her mother was Morticia Adams crossed with June Cleaver. And way controlling.
What do you mean?
Elena loved medicine. When we were kids, all the girls wanted to play house, but Elena always wanted to play hospital. Now some people worship movie stars or athletes. Well, that's how Elena felt about doctors. If she couldn't be one, then she'd marry one. Think of how her life would be different. She certainly wouldn't be in jail, let alone a stripper.
What are you talking about?
She claims she did it for the money, but I think she liked the attention.
You know how many girls come in here? Yeah, I remember Elena. She had a stage name, blinking on what it was. But I called her the librarian. So, what was her name? It's at the tip of my tongue. Anyways, Elena, she became popular. Go figure.
Hey!
You want to move around a little? Come on, I already paid. Show me. I'm sorry.
See, guys, they're weird. Except for you, sir. Come back anytime. Anything gets them off.
So, what are you reading? Why don't you read it?
The latent dream's most dominating element is the repressed impulse, which has obtained expression by associating itself with erotic stimuli. The dream maker's secret wish belies an underlying need. Kierkegaard emphasized that a moment comes for an individual when he must make an irrevocable. How the individual approaches this decision is earmarked by character notation markers of epic proportion.
Did she ever get arrested?
Nah, she kept it clean.
Hey, Maida, dance, will you?
Claire Stillman. That was her stage name.
You're kidding.
No. Look, most girls pick Candy or Amber. Not Elena.
Did she mention a boyfriend?
No way. The thing is, I think Elena's still a virgin.
I thought you said you were an open book.
Yeah?
Well, you left out a chapter, the one where you worked at Ozzy's.
Oh, who told you that?
It doesn't matter. Elena, stripping? Much of this case is going to be he said, she said. And the prosecution is going to do everything they can to undermine your credibility. So if you withhold information from me, I can't properly defend you. Remember, I'm on your side. Why didn't you tell me this?
Because of this. Judgment. It's easy for you, Sarah. You have your career. You have your family. Your life is yours because your choice is yours. What about mine? I am in love with a married man who denies we ever dated. Do you know how that makes a person feel? Like you never existed. So you do what you can. And when my writing wasn't enough to pay the bills, I worked at Ozzy's. No man ever saw me naked. No man ever touched me. My choice, my rules. Some people may find it ethically offensive, but it is not criminal behavior. So just please spare me the judgment.
Okay. Are there any other jobs I should know about?
I don't think so.
Good.
When can you start?
As soon as possible.
You don't have any experience.
I hate dirt. Isn't that enough?
Dr. Feinbar, call imaging services. Dr. Feinbar, call imaging services. There's something else we need to discuss. Your defense.
When I love, I love. Is that a crime?
No. It's not a legal defense.
What are you saying?
You harassed Dr. Stillman. It's difficult for us to say that you didn't. They'll have his testimony, plus phone calls, witnesses, letters you wrote, threatening letters.
I never threatened anyone. I was merely trying to convince him to take me back.
Well, the sheer volume is what is threatening. That's what the prosecution will say. And we have to explain why you did all this.
Well, when I take the stand, I will explain.
I really don't recommend you take the stand. You'll be at the mercy of the DA, and Cavallo is good. He will trap you. He'll twist your words.
Well, how else am I supposed to convince the jury?
Well, I think there's another way to avoid jail.
You want me to plead insanity?
I want us to explore all your options, and that is one of them.
I want him to admit he lied.
Look, let's just arrange a meeting with a psychiatrist.
Let's just say that I agree to an insanity plea. Do you know what kind of stigma that is? They'll put me in an institution with a bunch of pathetic females who spit and drool and pick at their skin. You don't think that that's jail?
Just meet him and consider it as an option.
It's a waste of time. I'd rather be dead.
What would you like to tell me about your relationship with Dr. Stillman?
Well, I'm sure it's all in your little files.
Maybe you could elaborate. Do you think it was a normal relationship?
Well, what do you consider normal?
You tell me.
Is that how this is going to go? You're going to answer all of my questions with a question?
A normal relationship is one in which both parties, willingly and openly, feel and express mutual love and respect.
That's what I had.
With Dr. Stillman?
Yep. Until he ended it.
And you're aware that he denies the relationship?
Of course.
Why would he?
To protect his wife, his stature, to ensure a conviction. There's a multitude of reasons.
Do you plan on providing proof of your relationship with Dr. Stillman to the court? Please. You know, letters he wrote you, Witnesses who saw him together, friends who met him.
So typical. Because he's a surgeon, wealthy, famous, you believe him and not me. The single white female.
And I'm not taking sides. Tell me about other men you've dated.
I don't see how that's relevant to David.
It is important that I get a sense of you, not just in relationship to Dr. Stillman, but of your entire life.
All right, fine. I never dated that much. You happy?
And how did that make you feel?
Like I was walking on clouds.
Is this a game to you?
I just don't see the point.
Let's talk about Olivia Reese.
I would prefer not to, if you don't mind.
I know you're reluctant to admit to the importance of sex in a relationship, but the passion between you and Elena cannot be denied. No woman is going to stimulate you emotionally, intellectually, or physically as much as she does. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, Olivia, I would have to agree. Thank you. What do you think will happen if you are in fact found guilty?
I'm sure they'll throw me into the electric chair.
Stop, and as soon as I get the blood work, I'll take a look at it, and I'll be able to let you go in a couple of days, okay? Okay. Thanks very much. Good. What's wrong? It's okay?
Yeah, they're fine. Can we go to your office?
Yeah, sure.
David, there is something that I need to tell you that I haven't told anyone else, and I don't want anyone else to know.
Okay. What?
Throughout this whole nightmare, I was frightened. And I wanted to do something to stop Elena, but I didn't know what. I couldn't think of anything. So I started writing letters.
To Elena?
Yes. You have clearly made the assumption that because my husband spends time in an apartment in the city, he must either A, have an unhappy marriage, or B, be sexually deprived, or both. You couldn't be more wrong. Should you have the unmitigated gall to utter one word of slander with respect to David, I will embark on an unmerciful campaign to engineer your professional and personal demise.
Are you out of your mind? She's going to use that against us.
Did she write back?
Yeah. But always to tell me that I was wasting my time, that she had no interest in what I had to say.
Whatever. You wrote her some letters.
No, David, I wanted to hurt her. I wanted revenge.
So did I. It's only natural.
I followed her. I followed her. More than once.
When?
Last summer. I would drive into the city and I would go to her apartment and I would just wait outside for her. And then I'd trail behind her, thinking about how much I hated her and what I wanted to do.
Did she see you? Why didn't you tell me this?
Because I'd become just like Elena. I was obsessed. I was obsessed with her obsession, and I didn't want you to see that. I wanted you to see the difference between me and her, between sanity and insanity, because otherwise I was afraid that you'd leave me.
Hello. Yeah, hold on a second. Hey. Hey. The phone.
Hello? Oh, jeez. Yeah, okay. I'll be there as soon as I can.
What was up? What's going on?
I'll tell you later. Someone says something someone else doesn't like. Next thing you know, there's a fight.
Can I talk to her?
Sure. She's doped up, though.
How do you feel?
How do I look?
Not so bad.
Nice try.
You should get some sleep.
Get me out of here.
You should see her face. It's like someone danced on it with high heels.
Kathy, can you get me the file of the Bennett case, please?
Right away.
I'm not going live on the bail, Sarah.
Fine, have it your way. But picture this. The beatings in jail don't stop. And Elena, with her face beaten to a pulp, walks into the courtroom. Meanwhile, your complaining witness is a 7-figure income neurosurgeon. Talk about David and Goliath. The Trib's going to have a field day.
So put her in protective custody.
So she can slip in the shower? No, thanks. I want her out now so she can see a real doctor and her face can heal. Or else, Sam.
Yeah.
Or else, the jury is going to see a dapper neurosurgeon punishing a lovesick woman who's getting her face regularly pummeled in jail. They'll acquit so fast they won't even need to get to the jury room.
Sarah, please, I really do have to finish this. You win, okay?
Thank you. I owe you, Sam.
Yes, you owe me. Hello?
You're not to call David or his wife. Drop it. Don't go near him either.
No.
Not within 500 feet.
Right.
Until the trial begins, they don't exist.
Understood.
Because if you blow this, you are back in jail.
Sarah, I got it. I'm not going to bother them.
Good.
What do you think I am, crazy?
So what do you think?
Well, I think Elena suffers from erotomania.
What is that?
It's a delusional belief that one is loved by someone else, when in fact one is not. Usually it's a celebrity, a sports figure.
Or a famous surgeon.
Exactly. Erotomaniacs typically are women whose lives have been disappointing. They go to great lengths to pursue someone they love, believing that person loves them in return. Elena's a classic example.
Why does it occur?
Like all mental disorders, we're a bit uncertain.
But insanity could be used as a defense.
That is, if you could get Elena to accept it. She can't imagine claiming insanity because that would mean that her romance with Dr. Stillman wasn't real. She would be admitting that her entire life was a lie, that she was a complete failure. Devastating to anyone.
Your diagnosis assumes there was no relationship with Dr. Stone.
That's true. All the signs were there that she fabricated the relationship and that she crossed the line from erotic fantasy into criminal behavior.
Should I be worried? I just got her out on bail.
Based on the tests I performed, she has violent tendencies. And she has 7 of the 10 traits of an assassin.
I want to be a little sexy for David.
Wear the navy blue.
Yeah. Well, I'm a medical writer. It's not glamorous like what you do. But
the basic
skills are the same. Maybe once this whole thing is over, maybe you could submit my resume to Chicago Magazine, or maybe we could write together. I know I'm being really presumptuous, and sometimes writers like to work alone, but...
Woodward and Bernstein?
Charlotte, it is a huge compliment. You're the best friend I've ever had.
Good.
Cheers. David's been so busy lately and very unhappy. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to see me again.
Elena, listen to me. You're not to react to David in any way as if he isn't in the room. We're selecting jurors, and if any of them detect any emotion from you towards him, we're done. Got it?
You're preaching to the converted.
Ready?
Let me get a drink of water.
Nervous?
Not really. You know, my mere presence in the courtroom could reignite David's passion for me.
You look so beautiful.
All rise. Please put away all reading material and turn off all cell phones. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Tyrone Wolf presiding. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are the jury pool from which the lawyers for the state of Illinois and the lawyers for the defendant will choose 12 jurors.
Why is the judge referring to me as a defendant? I have a name.
Do you know or have you ever met either Dr. Stillman or the defendant?
No, I don't. No, he's doing it. It's like I'm not even a person. Can't you object?
Counsel, is there an objection, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have an opinion about the medical profession that would prejudice you against Dr. Stillman?
No, I don't.
Juror number 112 is acceptable to the state, Your Honor.
Ms. Miller.
Have you ever been the victim of harassment?
You mean sexual harassment?
I mean, has a man or woman ever sent you letters or telephoned you when you didn't want them to?
Ever? I guess, yeah. When I was a younger teenager.
Your Honor, I'd like to strike Juror 112.
Thank you. You're excused.
It says in your questionnaire that you had a bout with cancer and are now in remission.
Yeah, fortunately,
So your experience with doctors was a positive one?
yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Juror number 43 is acceptable to the state, Your Honor.
Ms. Miller.
Strike him.
What?
He had cancer, now he's cured. He thinks doctors are God. He'll put David up on a pedestal. Strike him.
Defense strikes Juror 43.
Thank you. You're excused.
We're going to be here all day.
All right, that's it for today. Court will recess until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Have a good evening.
All rise. Court is now adjourned.
Over the weekend, I want you to lay low. And Elena, remember your promise.
No contact with David. Got it, don't worry. Your behavior in the courtroom manifests an underlying hostility to the feminine gender. You disgust me. Medically speaking, your pallor suggested a potassium deficiency. There's no excuse for your behavior, but you ought to be checked out by a specialist.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hey.
We're in here.
Hi.
Hi, honey. How did it go?
Okay.
Sam?
Mm-hmm.
This is Claire Stillman. I think you've met.
Hi, Sam.
So how'd it go?
We got through jury selection. Elena is a pain. Like she'd rather represent herself.
You think she's gonna leave Dr. Stillman alone?
Yes, she's not that crazy. Hello? You're kidding. Oh my God. Yes, yeah, I'll be right there. Yeah.
Hi.
Do you have a problem with me?
Of course not.
Well, I am doing this pro bono, gratis, free of charge. That means you're supposed to be grateful.
I am. Really?
Then what is the matter with you? Going to the DA's house? Having tea with his wife?
Well, you said not to bother David. You said nothing about Cavallo.
Don't get cute! Or you're going to have some fresh out of law school public defender handling this faster than you can say guilty as charged.
I'm sorry.
Do you know what strings I had to pull so that no more charges were filed?
I'm sure it took a multitude of favors.
You bet your ass it did. And here's the deal. Bail is back up to $200,000. You're in here for the rest of the trial. And if you screw up one more time, Elena, I can't help you. Nobody can. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Sarah Miller?
We got a problem, Sarah.
Yes, I know. I owe you Sam.
No, we are way beyond that. It's not just what you did to me. It's what you did to the judge.
Your behavior in the courtroom manifests an underlying hostility to the feminine gender. You disgust me. Medically speaking, your pallor suggested a potassium deficiency. This is no excuse for your behavior, but you ought to be checked out by a specialist.
My assistant didn't recognize the voice. I sure as hell did.
Oh, Your Honor, I'm so sorry. I had no idea her compulsion extended beyond Dr. Stillman.
What are we to do for the rest of the trial?
She's back in jail.
Well, if she's acquitted, what happens then?
You already agreed not to press more charges.
Right now, my obligation is to protect my courtroom and the people in it.
What are you saying?
Based on your client's history, does she harass only men?
I guess so. Why?
No men? No problem.
Turn off the cell phones, put away all reading matter. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Candace Hayes presiding. Case number 51458, State of Illinois versus Elena Roberts is now in session. Please be seated.
So after your meeting with the defendant, did you offer her a job?
No, I did not.
Why not?
It was clear she was offering me something more than the job required. But she came on too strong.
Now, she's an attractive woman, Dr. Stillman. Why didn't you just take her up on her offer?
I'm married and faithful to my wife. She didn't interest me.
So you never had sex with her?
No, never.
Did you ever kiss her?
No.
A year ago in February, was there a time that you saw the defendant in Chicago?
Yes, I had returned to my apartment at about 10:30 at night. Claire?
In here.
Surprise.
What the hell are you doing here?
Care for a drink?
Get out.
Are you ashamed of our relationship?
You're crazy.
And what did you do then?
I called my wife and said, "You're not going to believe this, but Elena Roberts is in our apartment in a negligee." I found her clothes in the living room and I put them in the bedroom. I asked her to leave and eventually she did.
Had you given the defendant a key to your apartment?
Absolutely not.
Did you tell the doorman to let her in?
No.
Did you call the police?
No.
Why not, Dr. Stillman? There was somebody in your apartment you didn't want there.
It didn't seem likely that at 11 o'clock at night in a locked building in a locked apartment that the police would believe that a half-naked woman was there by accident. So I did what I said. I waited for her to leave.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Okay, well, we'll take a 15-minute break now.
I hate to say this. He makes a good witness.
So you'll attack him on cross and show that he's lying about us not having a relationship?
Elena, whether you had an affair is not on trial. Whether your phone calls and letters constitute harassment is.
Dr. Stillman, I'm handing you a 5-page single-space letter. Do you recognize it?
Yes.
Can you describe its contents?
It's a letter addressed to me that I received. It was signed by Dr. Olivia Reese, a fellow of the National Psychiatric Academy.
Could you please read those highlighted sections?
I thoroughly enjoyed our visit. It was with great sadness, however, that I expressed my frustration with your wife for how she chooses to raise your children. Her indulgence of their behavior only forestalls their necessary maturation, and I fear how her manipulative behavior affects your own psychic growth. While I know I am forsaking my psychiatric objectivity, I feel I must be honest with you since we are first and foremost friends.
How many of these letters did you receive?
9.
9. Do you know a Dr. Olivia Reese?
No, I don't.
So why do you think that you received letters from her?
I wasn't sure at first. But I did some research, and it turns out that no such person exists.
Whom do you think had written these letters?
Elena Roberts.
So why Miss Roberts?
Style, content, the intimate knowledge of my family and my life. I knew who it was.
The defendant.
Yes.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Very well. Mrs. Miller?
Dr. Stillman, you've described letters and phone calls that Miss Roberts made to you over an extended period of time.
Yes.
Did she ever threaten you?
Not directly, but the threats were implied.
Can you give us an example?
No, not off the top of my head, but the frequency of the letters and their intensity.
So you inferred a threat, even though one wasn't made?
The number of letters was overwhelming.
Did she ever physically attack you or any member of your family?
No.
What purpose do you think Elena Roberts had in contacting you so many times?
Objection. Your Honor, that calls for speculation.
I'll rephrase. Did you read her letters?
Yes.
All of them. There are hundreds.
I read them.
In their entirety?
Pretty much, yes.
Including the Olivia letters, even though you knew such a person didn't exist and you presumed the letters were from Elena.
Yes, I read them.
Dr. Stillman, you've testified that you never had an intimate relationship with Elena Roberts. You never had sex with her. And yet you want this court to believe that you read every one of her letters, her love letters to you, even though there was no relationship between you, all because you were looking for threats?
That's correct.
What else do you want us to believe? Objection.
Counselor.
Sorry, Your Honor. Dr. Stillman, the evening Elena Roberts was found in your apartment, were there any signs of a break-in?
No.
And you didn't give her a key?
No.
So how does one gain entry into your apartment without a key if you don't break in?
I don't know.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Well, I think that's enough for today. Court will reconvene at 0900 tomorrow morning.
I want to take the stand.
I know you do, but Elena, you're unreliable. You have a hard time controlling yourself. The Olivia letters hurt us. The jury thinks you're unstable. Any more signs of instability, and you're done for.
I can prove to them that David is lying, that he loved me. They need to know that I wrote those letters not to frighten him, but to convince him that we should be together.
It's your trial.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Elena, how old are you?
30.
Where did you go to high school?
Skokie, to public school. It was in a very middle class neighborhood.
Where did you go to college?
Vassar. But I had to leave early because of Mr. and Mrs. Roberts.
Are those your parents?
Yes. They each had a long history of mental illness, which to this day I do not fully understand. Mrs. Roberts had a long amphetamine and
Your mother?
Yes, my mother had a lifelong amphetamine and barbiturate addiction, which made her peculiar, unpredictable, and very violent. She was overtly...
Objection? Is there a specific question that the defendant is referring to?
Sustained. Ms. Roberts.
I'm sorry, but I was beaten up
Ms.
3 or 4
Roberts,
times a week.
You have to answer the questions that are asked. You can't ramble. When I sustain an objection, you have to stop. Do you understand?
Yes, but what if I have something...
It's not negotiable.
Let's move on. You wrote letters to Dr. Stillman using the name Olivia Reese.
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I wanted to recapture the hope and promise of our early relationship.
And you thought the Olivia letters...
The character of Olivia spontaneously sprung into my mind, fully formed. And a lot of time had passed since my relationship with David had ended, and as I'm sure my jury understands, that the more complicated and intense the relationship is, the harder re-entry is, and it just became easier to assume the persona of a 60-year-old psychiatrist who could be an omniscient narrator for Elena without being maudlin or didactic.
So it was really just a literary device?
Exactly. I thought Olivia would soften any tautology that might be offensive coming from Elena.
Your Honor, could the defendant please refrain from referring to herself in the third person?
What?
Yes, Ms. Roberts is confusing to the jury. Please speak normally. Do not use the third person.
She's wearing my bracelet.
Claire, you won't believe who's here. Elena Roberts.
How the hell did she get in?
I have no idea. I came home from work and she was in English. I gave her a clothes and put her in the bedroom and closed the door.
David, I don't want her in my house. Call the police.
That's stupid. That's just stupid. Why would I call the police? So they can come over here with their guns?
Now you're protecting her. What the hell are you not telling me here, David?
Hi, Miss Roberts.
Hello.
You know that last night when you were in Dr. Stillman's apartment?
Which one? I believe he's leased a new one on Michigan Avenue.
No. I'm talking about that one on Lakeshore Drive because, you know, you've never been to that new one.
Not yet.
Oh, I see. Not yet.
Well, I don't know what the future will bring.
You can't lose.
Do you really think so?
It's in the bag. Thanks, Charlotte.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Will the defendant please rise?
David's not here. He doesn't need to be. How could he not be? Shh.
What say you?
In the case of the State of Illinois versus Elena Roberts, on the charge of aggravated harassment, we find the defendant guilty.
She's done nothing.
Sentencing will be held tomorrow at 9 a.m. I will hear advisement from counsel. Bailiff, take the defendant.
Step on, please.
What have I done that was so terrible?
On behalf of the court, I would like to thank the jury for their patient service during this long and complicated trial. Jury families will be very happy to see you again. Thank you. Elena Roberts, I hereby sentence you to the maximum of 2 years, and I urge you during that time to take full advantage of the help the state will provide. Court is adjourned.
I could be more positive, but there's really no hope of an appeal. I mean, you have to have legal error, and there really wasn't any.
Great. So I get to spend 2 years with the horde of baby killers. That's fantastic. You were never convinced of my innocence. The jury could tell the way you walked, the way you spoke. Your entire gestalt said that I was unstable.
Elena, you are unstable. Things have got to change.
Come on, Roberts. Let's go.
There were so many times in my life where I could have made the right decision. I always made the wrong one. Don't abandon me, Sarah. You're the friend I've got.
Hey, don't feel so bad.
What are you doing here?
I mouthed off. So the judge slapped me with another contempt charge, and here I am.
Judges.
Bitches, every one of them.
Don't you know a guy
Who knows a guy? Yeah.
Yeah, this time screw the assault charge.
Hey, who's she talking to?
Maybe this time they'll put us together again.
Beats me.
Why is it you just have a way of making me feel so much better? Oh my, you know what? We can write a book. Let's just write a whole thing. Wouldn't that be great?
You're next.
Elena Roberts.
He thinks you're hot.
Elena.
Yes?
Hi. I'm Dr. Wallace.
Hello, Dr. Wallace.